Podcast 275 Voices of the Digital Age, Democratizing Access. Podcast 276 ISBN 978-976-9786530. Welcome back to Voices of the Digital Age, Democratizing Access, copyright 2026, ISBN 978-976-9786530, where we explore how faith, technology, and creativity interact in our dynamic environment. I am Dr. William Anderson Gittins, D.D., your host from Barbados, and today we will be discussing an intriguing subject: Voices of the Digital Age, Democratizing Access, copyright 2026, ISBN 978-976-9786530, takes an in-depth look at how the Bible continues to influence modern creative professionals, ranging from writers, podcasters, publishers, media arts specialists, photojournalists, illustrators, cultural theorists, cinematographers, and theologians in an age driven by technology. The Bible, long regarded as a cornerstone of faith, continues to transcend time, adapting to the digital world while maintaining its moral and spiritual relevance. But with new challenges around digital access, copyright, and representation, how is this ancient text navigating the technological landscape? Today, we'll explore these questions and discuss how the Bible has stayed relevant in our digital age. Historical context, the Bible, and the digital transformation. Let's start with a brief look at the Bible's historical significance. As one of the most widely read and distributed texts globally, the Bible has influenced centuries of cultural, moral, and spiritual thought. However, in today's world, its role is shifting as we interact with it in new ways. In my capacity as a theologian, photojournalist, cinematographer, and cultural theorist, I support and highlight how digital tools have changed the Bible's accessibility. Thanks to online platforms, mobile apps, and e-readers, millions of people can access the Bible at the click of a button. Whether you are on a bus, in a coffee shop, or at home, the Bible is always within reach. Jeremiah 29:13 and Psalm 145:18. This shift has democratized religious learning, enabling individuals to engage with Scripture at their own pace. And it's not just about reading the text. We're now seeing people join virtual study groups, watch YouTube sermons, and even engage in real-time discussions on Instagram or TikTok. Smith 2020. The Bible's continued cultural relevance in the digital age. The Bible's themes of hope, morality, and community also resonate deeply in our digital culture, which is often marked by isolation and information overload. In my capacity as a media arts specialist scholar, I have taken the time to observe how social media, particularly Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, has accentuated these themes. Here, influencers and religious leaders are using these platforms to share reflections and discussions on biblical texts, fostering a digital community grounded in compassion and forgiveness. But Here's the interesting part. The Bible, in many ways, mirrors the very tools it's now using. As digital content becomes increasingly fragmented and accessible in small snippets, we see people turn into short, digestible pieces of biblical wisdom that can easily fit into their lives. The question arises, does this rapid consumption sacrifice depth and understanding? And if so, how does this impact our spiritual lives? Williams, 2019. The Bible and interactive digital tools. I am Dr. Gittins, and I discuss how there are new ways to engage with the Bible in the digital age. Mobile apps now offer readers the ability to engage with the text in new ways, like collaborative annotations, instant cross-referencing, and interactive commentaries. This has transformed the Bible from a static text to a dynamic learning tool that invites critical thinking and discussion. This interactive approach has promoted scholars to rethink biblical interpretation instead of simply reading a verse. We now have the chance to engage with a variety of interpretations, media, and perspectives. Scholars like Taylor 2022 argue that these new technologies have encouraged a fresh look at biblical hermeneutics, challenging traditional interpretations and prompting readers to reconsider aged-old views. Taylor, 2022. The Bible's influence on creative professionals. Now, let's talk about how the Bible continues to influence creative professionals. From writers to filmmakers, photojournalists to podcasters and cultural theorists, the Bible's themes are deeply embedded in the arts and media. I respectfully declare that the Bible is used by creative professionals in many different ways, such as a communication tool and a source of inspiration. Dr. Gittins, 2026. As a podcaster and media arts specialist, for example, I often weave biblical themes into my work, whether it's a full episode dedicated to a specific scripture or a subtle reference in a story. These references draw on the Bible's deep well of symbolism, narrative structures, and ethical dilemmas. The Bible is used to create content that resonates on a moral or philosophical level, but also to challenge audiences and offer a framework for tackling life's big questions. Mitchell, 2009. The ethics of digital Bible consumption. One of the most critical issues that I have discussed in my work is the ethical concerns surrounding the Bible's use in the digital world. While the Bible itself is in the public domain, many modern translations and commentaries are copyright, which raises complex issues about authorship, intellectual property, and commercial use. As a doctor of divinity, I have selectively highlighted the ethical implications of using scripture in a digital world where content can be easily shared, remixed, or even commodified. Should the Bible, a sacred text, be treated with the same approach as any other form of media? And what happens when sacred texts are packaged in bite-sized, visually stimulating formats for mass consumption? This commodification of the Bible in a world driven by online platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok brings up important conversations about authenticity, respect, and commercialization. Gittins 2026. Navigating the challenges of digital faith. As a creative professional, how do we balance innovation with reverence when it comes to sacred texts like the Bible? As a cultural theorist, I posit the view the digital transformation presents both new opportunities and challenges for those who interpret and create content based on biblical principles. The digital age offers unprecedented access, but it also brings forth the challenge of maintaining integrity, authenticity, and depth in our engagement with Scripture. As a theologian and media arts specialist, I need to grapple with questions about the commercialization of sacred texts, the risk of misinterpretation, and the broader ethical implications of digital Bible consumption. Evans 2015. Conclusion. In summary, I, Dr. William Anderson Gittins, D.D., examination of the Bible's position in the digital age highlights the intricacy and depth of this connection. It should be noted that while the Bible does not specifically say that it can adapt to modern technology, it does offer guidelines on how to respond to difficulties and change. Genesis 4:22 and Exodus 31:3-5, reaching new audiences and igniting new dialogues. But as we navigate this digital landscape, it's crucial that we approach these texts with respect, intentionality, and discernment. As we continue to harness the power of digital tools, we must remember that, as Philippians 4:8 reminds us, we should focus on content that is true, noble, pure, and praiseworthy. This timeless advice offers a guiding principle for how we engage with the digital world, ensuring that even in an age of information overload, we remain rooted in faith and integrity. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Bible's enduring influence in the digital era. Do subscribe to Voices of the Digital Age for more discussions on how faith, technology, and creativity intersect in our world. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep exploring. God bless. Podcast 275.